What a night. What a basketball night. It is currently 12:10 where I'm at. Just got home from the Numbers on the Board studios where we did the linear show and watched all of this in real time and had a chance to react to it. I'm coming down now emotionally because emotions were still very high from both of these games. And I'm going to start on the game that just ended. The Nuggets against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Nuggets go on the road and are able to steal a dramatic game one that was just, oh man, that was a lot. So just to basically lay everything out, the Thunder controlled this game from the first half. They had full control over this game. The Thunder did not have a good shooting display. I believe they went 0 of 9, 0 of 10 from the three-point line in the first quarter and somehow still had a 1-point lead in a game where, as bad as Oklahoma City shot it from three, the Nuggets really didn't do them any justice. The Nuggets had a very bad first quarter, even worse than the Thunder, who really only couldn't shoot the three-point shot. Everything else was kind of going well for them. They was taking care of the basketball, 46% from the field. This opening corner for the Thunder, for the Nuggets, kind of the other way. 39% from the field. They did make 2 threes, but still only shot 18% from the field, and they ended up with 3 turnovers there. Really a tough night for Michael Porter Jr. We've seen similar nights for him in the last series. And then the same thing kind of went on in that second quarter where the Thunder were able to win this quarter by 9 points, shot the ball a little bit better. A lot better. They shot 50% from three, 7 to 14. And the Nuggets, again, not being able to make a shot really in this first half. 0 of 4 from three, only shot 4 threes, and then doubled down with the turnovers with 6. So in the first half, the Nuggets are looking at a situation where they already have 9 turnovers. They are 2 of 15 from three, and they're shooting 39% from the field, down 10 points. So a lot of times when I'm watching these games and I'm envisioning myself going into the locker room as a player or part of the coaching staff, and I'm trying to think about what things that you could take, into the locker room to try to build yourselves up. You go into the locker room as the Denver Nuggets on the road, shooting as poorly as you are, turning the ball over and playing as poorly as you are, and you're telling yourselves, we are only down 10 points to the best team in the NBA, right? And this is a team that just had a quarter where they shot 50% from three. They're relatively taking care of the ball compared to us, and we still are in position to have a chance to win this game. And it feels like that's the message that the Nuggets were in the locker room telling themselves. They come out in the third quarter. They have a much better quarter as far as shooting the basketball goes. 48% from the field, almost made 50% of their shots, made a few threes. The turnovers were still the issue for me. This entire game, the Nuggets coughed up the ball, very uncharacteristic of themselves. And again, another quarter where Michael Porter Jr. really just wasn't able to give you anything. You did win this quarter by 5 points. Digged a little bit into that lead, just a tad bit. And then to wrap up the game, the fourth quarter, the thing that stole the attention from everybody. Again, the Nuggets saved their best basketball for the fourth quarter. We're watching this game in the studio, and I'm telling the guys while the Nuggets are probably in that range of like an 11 to 7 point deficit, and I'm just watching how poised the Nuggets are, how unrattled they are, and they're getting into their stuff, and they're starting to find their mojo. I think it's a very interesting thing to talk about when we talk about closers, right? And I've said this before, I think on the podcast, we talk so highly of closers, rightfully so. It's nothing like a great closer. But I think one of the other things that get underappreciated in the NBA and in the game of basketball is I don't even know the phrase or the name for it, but it's not the closer, it's like the middle guy, right? Which sometimes is also the closer as well. But I think Jamal Murray and Jokic, but really Jamal Murray, they do a very good job of answering when they're down in this little range. It's so hard to explain, or even when they're winning, but they are such good responders. In times where a team is at home, the crowd is going wild, they have a 9-point lead, they just scored another basket, which is now an 11-point lead. They maybe get a call that goes their way. And these are the plays in playoff basketball where you see inexperienced teams get rattled, they get shaky. You'll see a guy come back and try to shoot a crazy shot to kind of, and that's where you get the phrase, you're not going to get the lead back in one shot. If you're down 11, I don't care how far you shoot the basketball, you're only going to get 2 or 3 points from a field goal. That's just the game of basketball, right? So you see a lot of guys go for a home run play in those environments, and the next thing you know, you shoot a long three, it's a long rebound, and now the other team just scored in 2 seconds, and the lead is even worse. The Nuggets, on the other hand, when all of this is going on, Jamal Murray, boom, mid-range shot. That's the response. Keep the lead down to 9. Jokic, little baby hook in there, 7-point game. And then the Thunder may score again, but then boom, Jokic a 3-point shot. Thunder come down, get fouled, shoot 2 free throws. Jamal Murray, mid-range shot. And they just keep the game in a fair enough distance where once the stars align, once the momentum goes on their side, they're able to capture the game. And I think this was a great representation of this game from a team perspective, though. From a team perspective, it wasn't just Jamal Murray. It wasn't just Jokic. Russell Westbrook made timely plays. I saw Aaron Gordon make big threes outside of the game winner. Peyton Watson had a big block. Brown made a big 3-point shot, I believe, in one of those quarters. But in this fourth quarter, they started to hit on all cylinders. They shot 53% from the field, 63% from the 3-point line, hitting 5 out of the 8 threes. And then they were ultimately able to shoot 13 of 16 at the free throw line. 16 free throws, very, very big, and only 3 turnovers, which is probably the least turnovers out of any of the quarters that they had. And then on the flip side, things just kind of got dry for the Thunder. They shot 8 of 23 this quarter, 34%, 22% from the 3-point line, and 2 of 9. They did get 14 free throws up, made 11 of them, and they had 2 turnovers themselves. This is such a tough loss for them because when you look at how the game went, right? If there was a conversation I was having with an Oklahoma City Thunder fan or just anybody that knows basketball, and I tell you that the Denver Nuggets are going to have 18 turnovers. 18 turnovers. And the Thunder are going to score 23 points off of those turnovers. If I tell you that Denver is going to have quarters where they shoot as bad as they did, if I tell you that they're going to have a game in which Michael Porter Jr. is playing less than 30 minutes and he only has 1 made field goal for 2 points. If I tell you these things, you're probably thinking that the Thunder are winning this game from a substantial amount. The shot that Aaron Gordon hit, it's such a big shot for multiple reasons. Number one, he already had the winning field goal over the Clippers, which I ultimately believe is what catapulted them to win that series, right? Like, obviously, right? Aaron Gordon also lost his brother at the beginning of this year, which was very tragic and heartbreaking to see. There's been a lot about what's going to happen to the future of this team, what players they're going to have to move off of. I think and feel like Aaron Gordon has etched himself even more as a guy that's a part of that core. It's Jokic, it's Murray, and I think it's Gordon. I think that is your nucleus, and everything else around it is going to have to figure itself out. But he is really the heart and soul right now of the Denver Nuggets, and it felt that way when they first got him. It felt like he was the missing piece. When they won a championship, I kept saying on the podcast, he is the best role player in the NBA, and he continues to refine his game. He's making 3-point shots. We know how good he is defensively for this team. He covers up a lot of the holes, and then for him to make this shot, man, I feel so good for Aaron Gordon and this team. The main thing I want to say, though, as we wrap up just everything that happened in this game, the most important part that we talked about so much watching this game was the back and forth at the end. There was a specific play where the Thunder have the ball, baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds. The Nuggets are defending the inbound, and they are trying to get a steal, and if they can't, they will foul and send the Thunder to the free throw line, and they're going to play the foul game. On this particular possession, the Denver Nuggets failed miserably and were not able to get a steal or the foul, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went and got a dunk. Now, they did a substitution pattern where they took Jokic out, believing that they were going to get the foul and they would be able to put Jokic back in the game at the free throw line. Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got the dunk, it didn't stop the clock. It didn't put them at the free throw line, and it didn't give them a dead ball to sub Jokic in. And the Nuggets had no timeouts. The Oklahoma City Thunder, for whatever reason, opted to foul Aaron Gordon in that situation. All of us at the studio were scratching our heads because in our minds, that's the situation and the predicament that you want the Nuggets in if you are the Thunder playing with a 3-point lead. Even if you have a 2-point lead, 1-point lead, whatever, you want to play against the Nuggets while they don't have Jokic on the floor. And if they don't foul you like that possession did, there is no outlet for them to get Jokic in the game. They have no timeouts. They're down 3 points. You're not going to foul them. And to see the Thunder opt to foul there was very head-scratching. And the moment they did that, I don't know how anybody else at home was watching, but I know in that studio, we all looked at each other like, this is not feeling right. And Aaron Gordon goes to the free throw line. He makes the first. Jokic comes in. He makes the second. I think they used their last timeout, OKC, because they put a bunch of bigs in to make sure that there was no world where Aaron Gordon was going to miss and they were going to get the offensive rebound. And they used the final timeout to put in the regular lineup. They end up guarding really well. They foul Chet. Chet goes to the free throw line. They put the camera on somebody, and you see Chet in the background exhaling very awkwardly, looking very nervous. And we all in the studio are watching. We look at each other. Oh, yeah, he going to miss one. He misses the first. We like, he was nervous. Never in a million years that we think he would miss both, but he ultimately misses both. They push the ball up. I'm screaming because Jokic is not moving with enough sense of urgency, in my opinion. Russell Westbrook gets the ball. He makes the best decision he could have. Aaron Gordon steps up. Bang, bang, makes the play, and the Nuggets are now up 1-0 in this series. And they have now taken home court advantage. We know how tough it is to play in Denver with the altitude. That's always going to be something that you have to mention. But yes, that play to me, that sequence is going to be forever engraved in my brain. I drove my ass home to film this video and to get ready to go to bed because we have the podcast in the morning. I have yet to see what Dayton or anybody else is going to say about it. But there have been a bunch of plays like that, and not all of them have turned out to be such a big, important piece of the game. But I've seen so many analytical, overanalyzed, big brain decisions that I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not liking it. That's how I'm feeling about it. Whether that is J.B. Bickerstaff challenging in the first quarter of that one game, whether it's J.B. Bickerstaff taking out a SAR for those couple of minutes in Game 6 to put in Schroeder, whether that's today fouling, like, I don't know. I'm just, there's certain decisions that it's hard to justify and see where they're coming from. But that's one that if this series goes a certain way, that's definitely something that will probably potentially come back to haunt the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's a game you have to win. To see the performances that they got from, a guy like Alex Caruso hitting 5 threes, giving you 20 points off the bench, to be able to get, again, 4 threes from Lou Dort, the minutes that they got from Hardenstein, and, again, not a great game from J-Dub, 5 of 20, 2 of 9, but you control most of this game, and you really position yourself to win this game. I don't know if the Nuggets going to come out play this sloppy again. I don't know if they're going to have a start of a game that is this slow, but this is why Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. 42 points, 22 rebounds. He hit timely shots, got to the free throw line, enforced his will in the paint, and even made perimeter jump shots. And he made a big fourth quarter 3 with about 2 minutes left. And that was like, here it is. Again, what I talked about earlier, the ability to be able to make those shots. Everybody thinks about the Aaron Gordon game-winning shot or the shot that ties the game. But me, when I watch these games, as important and as heroic as those shots are, because we are not here having this conversation without the Aaron Gordon shot, and I'm not here to take anything away from a game winner from anybody. But the shots that get you there, the guy who can hit the three with 2 minutes left when we're down 5. You know what I mean? The guy who hits the response to the three that the other team hits. The guy that hits the mid-range jump shot with a minute 57 left that cuts the 3-point lead down to 1. Those are the shots that are just so impressive and so it's so hard to explain. But I think we as a basketball community in the world have to emphasize and talk about that part of the game a little bit more, because the championship DNA of these type of teams, the Warriors, the Nuggets, there are so many different teams that have showed this, but the Nuggets, I feel like I see it so much in that first round. I seen it in this game where Jamal Murray not having the greatest night, but the team is down 7 and doing mid-range, make a play, and it's just like, yuck. And it just timely, and somehow, some way they prevail, and they don't get there without those shots. Now, for the first game, to wrap up this video, Nuggets Celtics. Boy. Lord knows I'm a Knicks fan. That's no secret here. All I wanted from the New York Knicks in this series was us to play hard, for us to make this a challenging series, for us to not get embarrassed for 4 games, and to have some type of pride and dignity. And we started off kind of that way, right? Close first quarter. I was happy that the game was still in reach after the first quarter that we had, but I will say I was a little disappointed. You know, we 5 turnovers in the first quarter, extremely sloppy, just no flow, no rhythm. Things look really bad, but we did make some timely shots, and the Celtics seem to be having a slow start themselves. They fouled a lot. They 4-14 from 3-point land. They were never able to really get their 3-point shot to fall. I think they missed a record 40 or 50 46 threes or something like that. But I love some of the fight that we did have in that first quarter. But then in the second quarter, it was kind of like, here it is. They win the second quarter by 15 points, outscores 35-20. That second quarter, I'm not going to lie, I was a little salty, but then I was also a basketball fan, and the viewing experience kind of sucked. When they started to do the hack of Mitchell, I was like, bro, don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a strategy. He can't make free throws. If you foul him enough and he misses enough, you force Tom Thibodeau to have to take him off the court, which hurts us because he is a player that helps us with his size, his defense, and his rebounding. So I get it. It's a strategy. But from a viewing perspective, as a basketball fan who is at this part of the season, playoff basketball with the best of the best, quote unquote, on the floor, I want to see some strategy, but I also want to see some hooping. And it was a lot of stoppage. It was a lot of, just bullshit. And it felt like the second quarter was like long as hell and dragging out. So I didn't tweet it about it. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to come off as a salty fan, because we were also losing and they were starting to build up the lead. And it was kind of like, oh, here it is, the inevitable part of the game where the Celtics are going to big bro us and kick our ass again like they done all regular season. But at the same time, I'm also like, hey, if the Celtics are going to kick our ass, let them actually do it. Like hoop. Like Jason Tatum, go crazy. Jalen, like make it exciting. I don't want us to get our ass kicked because Mitchell Robinson is going to shoot 17 free throws today and only make 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just me as a fan, though. Then we go into halftime, and I'm like, oh boy, just staying hopeful. And the Knicks come out with a desperate type of feeling. They come out with a chip on their shoulder. In that third quarter, we end up winning by 7, and things start the tides start to turn. And I credit a lot of that from OG. He had an incredible third quarter. He really showed his value there. I think OG is a lifesaver for us in those type of situations. You know what I mean? He just starts to knock down shots, get everywhere defensively. You get him in those corners. He's doing this thing. He gets out in transition, using his body to get contact at the rim, finish, and converting. That was a really good quarter for us. We shot 52% from the field, 55% from the three-point line, and we were still able to find ourselves kind of guarding and getting lucked out with some of the three-point success for them. 7 of 19 from the three-point line. They took 20 shots this quarter. 19 of those 20 shots were three-point shots. Again, this is a analytical team getting up a vast amount of threes as quick as they can, as many as they can, and we found a way to take advantage of that in the third quarter and fight our way back into the game a bit. Now, same thing in the fourth quarter. They go 2 of 15, 13% from three. They turn the ball over 3 times. We were able to shoot 60% from three. We made 6 out of our 10 threes. Again, OG Anunoby was a big part of that. He hit 2. And then out of nowhere, Jalen Brunson just went absolutely nuclear. And it was one of the best performances that I've seen in the fourth quarter in a while. Another one of those performances from him. That last play when he missed that bunny, I'll be real, my heart dropped. And I was like, oh, shit, there goes our chance. We just had this 20-point comeback essentially for nothing because now all of the momentum is going to go to the Celtics in this overtime. They're going to say, okay, let's get for real. Let's stop settling. Let's stop chucking up these threes. Let's show them why we're the better team, and let's go ahead and wrap this up. And contrary to my belief or what a lot of other people thought, no, they were only able to score 5 points that quarter between Brown and Tatum. They took, 3 more to threes. Didn't really do much with those shots. And we didn't do shit with our 3-point shots either. We shot 1 of 4, but we were able to make just one more shot than they were. And that end of the game turnover that Mikal had on Jaylen Brown was very euphoric to see. I don't know. The Celtics are still the favorite team to win this series. They're still ultra talented. Not having Porzingis is always a thing of conversation for them. And the settling is crazy. I'm a Knicks fan. I was rooting for the Knicks. Obviously, I wanted that win. But I did tweet during this game, is Jason Tatum serious? The amount of 3-point shots was just bad. It was bad. I just think that they're too talented of a team to have such a surface level identity on offense. When the threes are raining and the threes are falling and you're generating the good looks when the ball is swinging side to side like they have, those possessions, I'm all for it. We've seen the Pacers do that against the Cavaliers where the ball is just flowing, you're shifting the defense, you're picking them apart, and the ball is rotating and you're getting an open guy and you're knocking down wide open looks. Nobody is complaining about that. Nobody is saying don't do that. But when you're constantly putting the ball in your best player hands, and over and over and over, he's getting the same shot, the same result. There has to be something in the Boston Celtics that says we have something else to get to. But it was mind-blowing how in that fourth quarter, Jason Tatum went 0 of 7, 0 of 6 from 3, and finished with 2 points, and they were just cool with it. The amount of threes, boom, boom, boom. They went 2 of 15 in the fourth quarter. And 15 out of the 21 shots that they took were 3-point shots. And again, I'm not here to pick them apart too much because this is a team that won a championship this way. This is a team that ultimately still was the second best Eastern Conference team playing this way. They just ran through the Orlando Magic, who are a good defensive team. The Magic did a good job guarding them at the 3-point line, though. But man, I watched this team, and I'm still fearful of them. They're still the Boston Celtics to me, a superior team. But those are the things that I see, and I'm like, is this a legitimate championship team again? Like, are they as good as I continue to give them credit for? They are, but it's these type of games where they scare me. They scare me. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of basketball left. The Celtics are not going to shoot the ball this poorly. They can easily come into game 2 and run the Knicks out of the gym by having a complete opposite game. We've seen that in the regular season where they broke the record for threes in the first game of the year against us. You know what I mean? This is a team that's still capable of that. So it's no situation where Knicks fans or Knicks players and coaches need to run around like they won the series. That's one game. There's 6 more to go, and we know how dangerous and efficient and powerful and explosive the Celtics can be at home and on the road. But as a Knicks fan, it was really, really good to be able to have this comeback win, to see it actually materialize, and to know we didn't play our best game. We had an atrocious first half. We turned the ball over, coughed the ball up a lot. The Celtics are already hard enough to beat, Even when you play your perfect game, the Celtics are going to be a tough team to beat. But when you're giving them the basketball, when you're making bonehead decisions, when you're putting yourself in position to be vulnerable in transition, they're leaking out and getting the easy ones. You really putting yourself behind the 8 ball. So to see us overcome that, to see us go into overtime, to see us make timely baskets and get timely stops, knowing how much of a defensive issue we had against this team and how they play, it was a very proud feeling to see us actually pull it out on the road in overtime in that environment. And again, like I say, all we can do is take it one game at a time. I'm aware of who my team is. I'm aware of who we're going against. I know how good of a team the Boston Celtics are. I just ask that the Knicks fight and they don't give them this series. Make them earn it and fight and beat them up as much as you can and let them know that this isn't going to be something that they're just going to be able to walk away with. And when you play hard and you leave it all on the floor, you'll give yourself a chance each and every night to win a game like this. And if you take it one game at a time, before you know it, you look up and you have a chance to actually compete or steal a series. It's not impossible. They're, a flawed team on nights like this, just like everybody else in the NBA. So, incredible night of basketball. I'm extremely exhausted. Can't wait to wake up and talk about it again on Numbers on the Board and see what else we have in store with the rest of these playoffs. As always, I appreciate y'all. I am P with the plug. I will see y'all next time I'm out. Peace.